Dr. Elena, tell me your secret how your biological age is 7 years younger than the one in your passport.
That's a great question. So I've been a biohacker myself for many years, and I actually solved a lot of problems related to health for myself first, because I was doing my PhD in stem cell biology back at the University of Birmingham in the UK, and I was going through something like a burnout for quite some time. I was working crazy hours, 16, 18 hours a day, and I was feeling like very weird because I was approaching my 30th birthday, and I was wondering, is it all a decline from there? Because I feel like my energy levels are not the same anymore, and I get tired, and I can't concentrate as well. So this was the primary problem I wanted to solve for myself first, and because I was experimenting with different supplements for a long time, and I was also studying something super interesting called NAD metabolism in the lab during my PhD work. I realized that there are already a couple of supplements that are basically NAD boosters that I can buy for myself and try them out. And interestingly enough, what happened is that I took such an NAD booster myself, and 2 days later I wasn't tired anymore. So this was...
So NAD is mainly for your energy.
Yeah, so NAD is the master regulator of human metabolism and human health, because it sits at the Krebs cycle, and without it your mitochondria cannot produce ATP, so they cannot produce energy. So that's why NAD is so important for human health, and what happens is that its production is peaking at the age of 25, just like our hormones. And then, usually, if you don't do anything about it, it's all a decline from there. And that's the reason why so many people start feeling more fatigue and less energy and less focus and concentration at around the age of 27, because this is when
well, lucky me, I had it when I was 32, okay. But I definitely felt it myself.
Yeah, so this is what I realized, that my biology starts slowly changing, and I said, you know what, I want to see how I can hack this. I want to see how I can biohack myself, and actually I think that the results that I'm seeing right now with everything that I'm doing, with all the biohacking interventions, are working.
Because I thought, and I guess not only me, but many other people think that this is just natural, that with an age we just start losing energy, concentration, all this. At least this is what I thought, like when I felt, because I'm a person full of energy usually. I used to be like super energetic. And then after 30, 32, I started like, oh, I might need a siesta in the middle, of the day. So, okay.
So usually this is what people think. They just think that it's a natural process.
Yeah.
But what happens is that there are so many things that we can do in terms of our lifestyle changes and in terms of supplementation in order to actually offset this process and make it slower, to basically offset physical and cognitive decline. And this is energy and focus. And the first step for me was to actually look into how NAD boosters are working, because I did experience the effect for myself, and this is how I started my company, NMN Bio, which does offer to our customers high quality anti-aging supplements, including NAD boosters. But it doesn't end there, because you see, even if you take all the supplements in the world, you actually need to build a routine that will be optimizing your energy and focus levels throughout the day.
Yes, you do, but how do you do it? Because even for me, why we're even recording this video together, because me meeting you in my life made a huge change in just basically a year that we've known each other, right? Because even whatever some basic stuff that you're telling me to do, not always it's very easy to implement. And even I struggled, obviously, but of course, when I see the result, I have more motivation, right? And what would be your recommendations for people who, yes, they feel this struggles with energy, probably also all busy professionals like us, we work a lot, we maybe don't get rest enough, and we want to do something so that we work better and longer and more productive, but we also have no time to implement some biohacking maybe. But do we really need time? What do we need to do to like actually start being like a light version of biohacker?
Yeah, I think that the most important thing right now is the lifestyle in terms of the food consumption. What do we eat and how we eat it and when we eat it. So this is the biohacking 101, I would say, because the number one enemy of both our energy and focus is actually sugar and processed foods. Yeah, and that is something that I'm seeing a lot of people struggling with, because it's actually, it is not easy, as you said, right? And it does take time. However, there are multiple things that you can do in order to make this process easier, and you can incorporate it into your lifestyle. So I'm a big proponent of intermittent fasting, as you know, and I know that you've been experimenting with it as well, and it does make a difference in your energy level. So that's one thing, because when you narrow down the window of feeding within your day, you do get your energy levels under control, basically, because what happens is that you don't have the constant insulin spikes in your blood when it comes to food consumption. And on that note, actually, the sequence of the food is also very important, because it also minimizes insulin spikes. So when I say that sugar and carbs is the number one enemy of energy and focus and longevity, is because everything is being messed up in our body when we do have insulin spikes, which happen when we consume carbohydrates, because our cortisol levels are getting high as well if the insulin spike is too high, and then the rest of our hormones are getting messed up. So what happens when we introduce a proper sequence of food with fiber first, which means that we do consume some salad first, some vegetables, and then we consume protein and fat, that could be, for example, meat and cheese, which are nutrient dense, by the way, and physiologically relevant for the human body, because this is what we evolved to eat over hundreds, thousands of years as hunter-gatherers. So we would kill some animals, we would eat the meat from the animals and the organs that are also full of, all kinds of vitamins, and then we would have the occasional berry or mushroom from the forest. And so there was no carbs, right? So carbs were only introduced to our food pyramid like 15,000 years ago with the start of agriculture, because little towns would compete with each other for growth and who can build and grow faster. So they had to feed all the workers, and they could do it more efficiently, and they could feed more people with agriculture. So this is why agriculture really...
Yeah, but everybody loves carbs. So how would you tell a normal person just stop eating carbs?
Yeah, so if you tell them just stop eating carbs today, they will struggle a lot. So the percentage of people that will actually be able to do it will be very small. But what happens is that when the number one hack and the number one tip to start is to introduce the fiber first, because what happens is that it will start coating your gut before the carbs get in. And then when you actually eat the carbs, so all the pasta, bread, rice, you just put it at the end of your meal.
So it's a special sequence of foods.
Yes, exactly. Because then when you have the fiber first, and then you end up having a lower insulin spike from the carbohydrate consumption, your cravings will start reducing. So then, after a while, it will actually be easier to reduce the amount of carbs that you're eating as well. So this would definitely be my number one tip for everyone, whether they do consider reducing their carbohydrate intake or not. If they just introduce the fiber at first, this will make a difference in their energy levels and their focus levels, because then if your insulin is not spiking so high during the day, your energy levels will be staying consistent.
Lovely. Thank you very much, because I really hope that a lot of people will see this video, will watch this video, and I feel like this kind of tips, when they come from you, definitely people will trust you more, because you're a scientist and you know all of this. Because when I share my experience, and why we're talking today, right? Because you definitely changed a lot of my perception on nutrition, on energy, you know, how we produce everything. And I've used multiple tips, advices, you know, and guidances from you, and they helped. They've worked, you know, that's why I really want people to know about it. But of course, if I talk about it, it's not as convincing probably as you do. So I really hope that people will see it, that because for me, really, it transformed the way I feel. And of course, it's about energy levels, right? How you feel. It's even like your mood is different. You're like in a better mood all the time, somehow.
Yeah, amazing. Well, I'm very glad to hear about that.
But also, when we talk about this, it's very nice when it becomes not like just things you do, you know, with the focus on, okay, I want to live longer or something like that. Seeing you, because you're my friend, I can see that it's become a huge lifestyle for you. Right? Because certain things you just do already automatically in a way. And I catch myself sometimes doing the same, you know, but not everybody's like that. Not everybody's like that. And when we talk about lifestyle, right, in my profession, it's very important to match people of the same lifestyle. And the difficulty is usually when somebody, for example, even speaking of myself right now, I'm so, you know, I dove deeply into your head, basically, because I really like everything that every tip you give me, it works, and I'm like, yes, amazing. So I really wanna like pass it through maybe to my partner, right? My friends, even my family, because I care about them, and I like, I want you to live longer. I want you to also have a healthier, happier life. But not always people are very open to this kind of suggestions. So what would be your advice on how to introduce this kind of things to other people? Because maybe it's not only us who are doing biohacking, you know, on different levels. Of course, we have motivation, but I'm sure even your part of your mission is to spread the knowledge, right? How do you usually do it? How would you advise people to also like give little hints to those who need it?
So this is very interesting, and this is very interesting that as a matchmaker you do get to see the different lifestyle habits that people have.
Like
right?
somebody, I don't know, smokes, somebody doesn't, somebody works out 5 times a week, somebody doesn't at all, you know, so.
So I think that when it comes to other people, well, we need to be aware that they cannot indeed go from 0 to 100 within a day, right? So that's the reason why I always provide tips that are actually quite easy to implement.
It's not like a diet or something, right?
It's a lifestyle. It's not a diet. Yeah, exactly. Diets don't work because people just always quit them because they want to go back to what they consider normal. So the question here is, how do you define the new normal for them?
I see.
So for example, with nutrition, you would do it like that. You would introduce the fiber first, and then after a while they will start feeling the difference in their sugar cravings themselves. So then it becomes easy to implement. And what I've also noticed is that some people are quite flexible when it comes to their mindset and trying new things, and some are not. So, you know, unfortunately, we can't do anything about that. But what I'm seeing is that first you have to define a goal, and speaking systemically, right? So when we talk about the system of health, your actions will be having certain outcomes that will either be positive or negative. So if you are implementing specific habits in your daily lifestyle, you will be having a bonus, right? Like a positive outcome.
Right.
So I think that when you actually define what you want and you are aware of what is your goal, right? And you might be having multiple goals, so then you actually have to choose and prioritize which one do you want. For example, let's say alcohol consumption, which we all do from time to time, like most people do consume alcohol, right? So what happens is that you just ask yourself, okay, well, I will get the bonus of feeling great in the moment, and it will be the same with carbs, for example, right? Like I want this dessert, so I will have the joy of, you know, enjoying all the flavors that have been put together in a certain dish that contains carbohydrates. and whatnot. But then you have to realize, okay, but like in the system of health, I will actually have consequences. So those are two different systems. Those are two different goals. The goal of pleasure and enjoying yourself in the moment, and the more long-term goal of health. So when you define it like that, like people actually tend to realize more like what they need to do in the moment. So this is always my approach, because you can't really force anyone, even your partner, to do something if they don't want to, because you'll just meet resistance. But when you actually present it in a logical way, where you say, okay, look, here is a goal, and it's always better, I think, like in a partnership, either business partnership or, you know, in personal relationships, like if you define the goal, like you will be on the same page. Because let's say your goal, so you know what, I'll speak for myself. So my goal from a personal partnership is to live the maximum amount of years in good health together. So this goal, I cannot achieve it with a partner that is not healthy, for example. So that's the reason why I'm looking for a partner that will be healthy, right? And it goes like that.
Yeah, makes sense. And also nowadays, those who want to have children, for example, and like women of our age, it's a little already like older than 20 years before, for example, what was the norm, right? And even for myself, I think I want to be healthy because I want to be a good parent. I want to live long for my children. I want to see my grandchildren as well, right? And obviously I want that for my partner as well. So
yeah, and this is actually a question that we get a lot from our customers, how we can support fertility. And this goes back to the consumption of carbohydrates and processed foods, because people do this on autopilot and they don't even realize how much it can basically like affect their hormones. And when they do stop eating processed foods, we see their hormones being restored, right? And then, like, you know, they do all the blood tests and they see that their fertility is coming back.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it's the time of food consumption as well that I talk about a lot, because like the earlier you eat in the day, usually the better. Because so my rule of thumb is no food after sunset, for example, right? So it depends on where I am in the world, but usually this is before 5 or 6 p.m. the latest. So when you do that, your hormones are going to be more balanced during the sleep phase, because they don't have to allocate energy to basically do the digestion during sleep. But when you have, let's say, a dessert at 10 p.m., like your hormones will be all over the place, because first the insulin will spike. Then the cortisol will spike, and it goes like that, right? And then it affects everything. And actually, it does affect the reproductive hormones in the long term as well. Yeah, I mean, we do suggest, you know, like according to the latest studies, it looks like, for example, boosting NAD is also something beneficial for fertility. And there are mouse studies and other animal studies that are already demonstrating this, and we do have anecdotal evidence from customers that are actually sending us their blood test, showing that their fertility has increased on them. To the point where we actually are working with a couple of gynecologists and, you know, female health practitioners that actually recommend their products for this reason, and they're getting amazing results.
Well, you see how we shifted from biohacking to having babies and matchmaking. But I guess, you know, we always say, you know, whenever we have a conversation with you, that there is basically the most important parts, right? Mine is relationship, of course. Yours, everything about health, right? And of course, we care about money, so.
Yes, of course, it's health, wealth, and relationships. The things that actually most people struggle the most with.
Yes, but they're super important, and usually one contributes to another. Even for me, you know, now that not only I work with young people, but also I work with people who are 45 plus, especially in different countries. I told you in Mexico, most of our clients are a little older, right? Because they already like search for second marriage and stuff, but they still want to live a long life. And I feel like if I even just introduce Eneman to them, just that little bit, that would already be some kind of progress to them. And I'm very excited also for our local collaboration here in Dubai, because I think whatever, you know, I told you, I bring in a man bottle as a gift to anyone's birthday or something. If I don't
That's
know
amazing.
what to bring, I know that it's 100%, safe for them. There's no side effect. And the side effect is that you sleep better.
Yes.
Yeah, but yeah, that's why I'm very happy we got to talk about it, because I want people to know, even people who are somehow related to dating or whatever, they will look at this video because of me, but I hope they will learn from you things that also changed my life. Definitely, sometimes there are people who you meet and your life kind of divides into before and after. Oh, seriously, like for me it's the same. Like I could see that whatever I'm implementing health-wise, it's noticeable, of course, because also I'm not 25 anymore, so I have to be very cautious and mindful, but this is when you really feel how you feel when and more you feel the difference when you stop doing this biohacking things, and you kind of like on Christmas dinners and stuff, you loosen it up a little bit.
Wonderful holiday season.
Yes, we did. But when you loosen it up a little bit, then you notice again how bad you can feel, because you get used to this high energy levels, good sleep, all this, and then all of a sudden it goes back to what it was, and you're like, oh, now I know the difference.
Yeah, because we just went to the Christmas market and had some churros.
Chocolate.
Yeah.
But I guess balance is also very important. It's not, as you said, you cannot just completely get rid of things and just say, no, I'm not gonna do it. But if overall, probably consistently, you repeat everything you can, even if sometimes you fail, it's not a big issue.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm doing as well with the carbohydrate consumption. So usually I'm on a low carb diet, and most days I'm probably on like zero carb diet, and I'm not even craving them, right? So that's the thing, like I'm doing it on autopilot. But yeah, you just kind of cultivate it as a habit, and then it becomes natural. So that's the thing. So I've been on this, low carb journey for like many years, and you're just catching up now. So I'm sure that it will keep on changing.
For me, of course, I still have these cravings sometimes, but mainly when I see this food. If I don't see it, I don't want it anymore.
Yeah. I'm at the next stage where I see it and I can just take it or leave it.
One day.
I think it literally happened now. I don't think I had any carbs on the live stream. Yes. Yeah, amazing. So I think that you kind of organize all of your life around this, and then it just it starts happening naturally to you. So you are respectful of your biorhythms, and you eat at certain times of the day, and you sleep at the same time every day as well, regardless of whether it's a weekday or a weekend, which I also find actually very important to maintain stable energy levels. And a lot of people are not aware of that, but like after sunset I usually dim all the lights in the house, and I only have like warm lights, like no blue lights at all. I do.
You don't watch TV before you go sleep?
I don't know. Yeah, but I also have blue light blocking glasses that I wear usually an hour before going to sleep. So even if I'm on a screen, I'm looking at a screen, like all the red light is being blocked out.
Yes. Yeah, I remember that little software you also
recommended me. Actually,
for my 9 hours of work.
Yes. Yeah, so there is a software, it's called Flux. It's free for everyone to download on their laptop or their mobile phone, and then it regulates the light, and it blocks out the blue light out of your screens, which is amazing. And then nothing disrupts your melatonin production before you go to sleep, because there are people that are staring at screens full of basically blue light for hours, and then they're wondering, oh my god, like why can I not get like a good night's sleep? Why my sleep is so bad? Well, that's why.
So many things, I guess, more to talk about, but I guess let's talk a little bit more about your product.
Yes.
Because that's what I want to also get from my clients.
Yeah, I think that for anyone over the age of 30, what most people are not even aware of is that we have multiple cellular processes that start declining with age. So it's usually after the age of 30. So as I said, the NAD metabolism is one of the key ones basically, right? So we need to, constantly support our NAD levels with things like NAD boosters, such as NMN, for example, because NAD by itself, it's a big molecule, so you don't want to take it orally anyway, because it's not going to be absorbed. And by the way, a lot of people are asking me about NAD IV drips, and they don't work either, right? So yeah, so anyway, so you do support your NAD levels with an NAD precursor such as NMN, and then like most people do feel the difference with an NMN supplement within a few days. Well, at least one that is from our company. I can't speak for all the companies out there because their quality standards are questionable sometimes, but what we do is we always have the highest quality NMN that we're offering to our customers, and that's the reason why we're in retail stores such as Selfridges in the UK or Astor Pharmacy in the UAE, because they wanted to sign our brand specifically for their longevity product range. So that's the NMN, and then there are multiple other processes. So when we're talking about insulin, again, because actually like having problems with your insulin levels as you get old is also a sign of aging, right? So that's why like it's tied up, like without proper insulin levels, you're never gonna have longevity. Right, so this is why it's so important, and that's the reason why we actually got an optimized version of the berberine supplement, which contains also milk thistle, which makes it bioavailable, and this means that the normal berberine products, they actually are absorbed by 3% by the human gut, and our berberine with milk thistle is absorbed by 97%, right? So it's basically a completely different product, and that's the reason why people take it, and after 10 days, like they don't have sugar cravings anymore. They're like, they can feel
I guess
the
this one helps me too, because definitely like intermittent fasting and
exactly, because it also reduces the insulin spikes in your blood. Right, so this is what's happening. And then another issue that I think is not being talked about enough that we get after the age of 30 or 40 is actually muscle loss. So it's called sarcopenia, and it's basically the process by which our muscles start degenerating and we start losing the muscle tissue. And I think that there is some crazy statistics such as like 10% of your muscle will be lost every decade after the age of 40. How crazy is that? So yeah, I know, right? So people are very surprised about this, and they actually, if they don't work out regularly, like they start losing muscle. But even if they do work out, they need to support their muscle growth, but also the muscle maintenance. And that's the reason why we also optimized another product, which is called quercetin, which acts as an agent that will preserve your muscle function. Wow. So this is important both for amateur and professional athletes, but also for everyone over the age of 30.
Yeah, you recommended it to me when I was preparing for my competition, right?
Yes, yeah, exactly. And again, like every product that we launch it we only launch a product if we can maximize its efficiency, right? So this is what we do, because there are some companies, for example, that sell pure quercetin, and they pride themselves on this, and this is like a marketing angle for them. Oh, it's a pure quercetin,
but it doesn't work.
But it doesn't get absorbed. And not only that, but it can actually damage your cells, because pure quercetin is only going to get oxidized when you take it orally, and then you're not going to have the beneficial effect either. So we did add the vitamin C and the citrus bioflavonoids in this blend in order to make sure that you actually get high absorption, it's not getting oxidized, it's not harming you, and you only get the benefits.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah. And then after 2 years of R&D, we actually launched this product, which is called the NAD Brain, which is our proprietary formula. It's trademark pending right now, and it's 12 ingredients that support the levels of NAD in your brain specifically. Wow. So not only that, but it has multiple other anti-inflammatory actions and anti-aging actions specifically for your neurons. So it's 12 ingredients. They're all 12 of them are blood-brain barrier permeable, so they do get into your brain, because we actually see a lot of supplements on the market that say that they're nootropics and this and that, and actually they don't even get into your brain. So honestly, the things that I see as a scientist from other brands is just insane, right?
Yeah, but that's why, when you tell me to take something that will help me, I know for sure I can trust you because you are a scientist as well.
Yes, yeah. So this is what's happening with the supplement industry nowadays. But this is what we're trying to do. And then some supplements as a single ingredient will be efficient by itself, right? So for example, in the NMN we haven't added anything because it doesn't need anything to work better because it's a water soluble compound and you just consume it and it does increase the levels of your NAD in your blood within 15-20 minutes. So it's actually a very efficient product. And then the TMG is also another supplement like this, which basically increases the metabolization of NMN, how much of it you absorb and how you metabolize it. And then also it's a great supplement to take for your liver health as well and for DNA repair.
Very interesting.
Yes.
So not only we have to produce NMN in our body, but then we actually need something to help it to be absorbed.
And to metabolize it, because the first NMN in NMN stands for nicotinamide. So this part of the molecule is being secreted via urine. And in order for this process to take place, you actually need a methyl group on top of it. So what happens is that the TMG, which is trimethylglycine, it just gives you the methyl groups to do this. So this is how they work in tandem, and this is why we recommend all of our products for pretty much everyone over the age of 30, because you support all these key cellular functions in order to offset, the cognitive and the physical decline.
That's great. That's great.
Yes.
You heard me? You heard her? Everyone over 30.
Yeah, and we actually can organize a giveaway for our listeners.
Yes, that's exciting. I said, finally I'm not going to go buy them in a pharmacy. Just bring people.
So guys, when you subscribe to this channel and you like this video and you also leave a comment under the video telling us about what you found interesting about this podcast episode with me and Alla about longevity, a bit of a dating and how you can...
It's all together.
Yes, how you can incorporate healthy lifestyle into your life and your partner's life and be healthy together. The best comment will win a longevity bundle by NMN Bio, shipped directly to them, free of cost. So please like and subscribe and leave a comment, and we will contact the winner within a week. Thank you.